Tonight, a terrifying ordeal in the back of an Uber. A woman says she was attacked by a driver nearly 3 weeks ago, but then failed by authorities who took too long to respond.
Nearly 3 weeks now he's been driving around, being able to pick up other women and girls and potentially do the same thing to them. It's absolutely disgusting.
Also ahead, a nursery worker in West London is jailed for 8 years for repeatedly hurting babies and young children. Parents of the victims say she's the worst kind of human. We go out on the Thames with the Met team cracking down on vape spiking as a new term brings the return of students to the capital. And
come on, England!
Ahead of World Cup final weekend, a Red Rose legend passes down her tips to the next generation of England rugby stars. Good evening. A woman who says she was sexually assaulted by her Uber driver has told ITV News London she feels let down and angry at the response by authorities. The woman, who cannot be named for legal reasons, was travelling from London to Sussex just over 2 weeks ago when her driver pulled over, got in the back seat and assaulted her. Despite now being banned from Uber's platform, the woman told us she fears her alleged attacker was free to pick up passengers for 2 weeks afterwards. In the last decade, reports of sexual offences in private hire vehicles have more than doubled, leading campaigners to call for dash cams to be made compulsory. Helen Keenan has our top story.
Put in a position of fear, she says she hasn't fully processed yet.
I thought he might rape me or, hit me, assault me in other ways as well. So, he could have killed me. I don't know.
Cornered in the back of a taxi by the driver and sexually assaulted after he claimed he needed to get out for a cigarette.
He said, "Is it okay if I get in here with you?" Well, I said, no, it's not actually.
How did you feel in that moment?
Panicked. I didn't know what to do. He unzipped his trousers. He started to touch my chest and in between my legs. I was really scared, like frozen. I didn't know what to do.
She reported what happened to the police, Uber and later TfL.
Nearly 3 weeks now he's been driving around, being able to pick up other women and girls and potentially do the same thing to them. It's absolutely disgusting.
Reports of sexual offences in taxi and private hire vehicles have more than doubled in the latest 10 years, according to crime figures from TfL. In 2013, there were 101 recorded. By 2023, that number had risen to 204. In that same year, only 1% led to charges.
I rang and reported what happened to Uber. They couldn't reassure me that the driver's licence would be revoked pending investigation. And they told me that they wouldn't tell me what happened.
TfL told us we take a zero-tolerance approach to all forms of sexual harassment and assault and have revoked the driver's licence with immediate effect. We also contacted Uber, who said there is no room for sexual harassment on our platform. We immediately investigated this incident, banned the driver a number of weeks ago, and reported this to the police. But she tells me action hasn't been taken fast enough and worries for other women and girls' safety in London.
Helen, the police are aware of this. What have they been telling you?
Well, yes, we have spoken to Sussex Police, who are investigating those claims. They have told us that officers have engaged with the victim, who is being given specialist support, and an investigation is underway. Now, they say they're also working with Transport for London to ensure appropriate safeguarding measures are in place while their inquiries continue.
There is a wider issue to this, isn't there? And you've been talking to campaigners. What are they saying?
Yes, absolutely. We have campaigners, in fact, who have carried out safety training with Uber themselves. Now, that's the Survivors Trust, and they say new rules need to be put in place, which they say would increase safety in vehicles.
We need to accept the levels of it. We need a complete overhaul of criminal justice, and we need to make it easier for survivors to say what's happened to them and not be re-victimised and re-traumatised by that process. The main issue we're seeing, particularly in taxis, is there's no national licensing, and also there's no mandatory dash cams. People who want to commit sexual assault are going to find a way to do it wherever they are. But if we had those things in place, Uber have been campaigning for it for a long time. We are joining them in that. every single taxi in this country should have a dash cam.
Well, tonight we have put those points to the Department for Transport. Now, we can tell you that they have said to us that local authorities are required to use a national database which shows them when a licence has been refused, suspended or revoked on safety grounds. But we know that issues remain, which is why we plan to update the law to tackle inconsistent standards in taxi and private hire vehicle licensing. Now, we understand they are considering looking into many issues, some of which are out of area working and the uses of CCTV.
OK, Helen, thank you very much. Next tonight, a nursery worker who hurt babies and young children in her care has been sentenced to 8 years in prison. Roxana Lecker carried out the abuse at locations in Hounslow and Twickenham. Parents have branded her the worst kind of human. A warning, Carolyn Sims' report contains some details of what Lecker carried out.
The victims attacked here were babies, some as young as 9 months old. Their parents had trusted Roxana Lecker to keep them safe. Instead, she'd physically assaulted them. Inside court, parents looked directly at Lecker as they described the emotional trauma she had caused. Outside, a solicitor spoke on their behalf.
The last year or so, and trying to come to terms with what our child has suffered has been incredibly difficult. We've been on a roller coaster of emotions and feel hurt and angered by what our child endured. Whilst we're relieved, Lecker has been stopped and dealt with by the courts, the effect of what happened still impact on our family.
You've been seen on a number of occasions to assault children at Riverside Nursery.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah. When she was arrested, Lecker played innocent.
Okay, we need to take you to the police station, yeah.
But CCTV recorded everything, including her vaping right next to the cots.
One child was repeatedly kicked in the face by Lecker before she stepped on his shoulder and kicked him in the face again. Another, a girl, was dragged from her cot and punched, and she pinched another baby all over her body, on her arms, her legs and her back.
What about these big red marks and bruises to her back? Any idea about those?
No comment.
There's no empathy at all, is there?
No comment.
No.
In police interviews, Lecker refused to answer questions.
These are children. You are effectively abusing children, physically abusing children, and you have got nothing but no comment to say, and I've just never seen anything like it.
She's given no accountability at all for her actions, and that's what makes this so difficult to understand. You know, she's looked after defenceless children and has physically assaulted them on some of them on multiple occasions.
20 children were assaulted at the Riverside Nursery in Twickenham, which has now closed. One incident happened at Little Munchkins in Hounslow in 2023. Sentencing Lecker, the judge described her actions as sadistic and said she should never be allowed to work with children again. Carolyn Sim, ITV News, Twickenham.
The terror case against the rapper known as Makara from Kneecap has been thrown out. The 27-year-old was initially charged for allegedly displaying a Hezbollah flag at a gig in Kentish Town last November. There were huge cheers from the public gallery as the Chief Magistrate told Woolwich Crown Court the charge against him was technically unlawful because of the way it was brought. An 18-year-old boy who was shot dead in Wembley on Sunday morning has been named as Tyrese Boucher from Hillingdon. A 32-year-old has been charged with murder. Another remains in custody on suspicion of murder and possession of a firearm. Tributes have been paid to former Arsenal Academy player Billy Vigar, who has died after several days in an induced coma. The 21-year-old suffered a brain injury during a match for his club Chichester City at Wingate and Finchley FC last Saturday. It's being reported the injury was caused when he collided with a concrete wall. Doctor Who star Noel Clarke was arrested during a 5-hour raid of his house yesterday, days after a defeat in his sex abuse libel case. Officers went to the 49-year-old actor's family home in Kensington with a specialist dog unit used in the search. His arrest follows his failed libel case against the Guardian newspaper. It's not yet known why he was arrested. And in the last hour, we've heard John McDonnell, the MP for Hayes and Harlington, and Afsana Begum, the member for Poplar and Limehouse, have had the Labour whip reinstated. Both lost the whip in July last year after they rebelled against the government over scrapping the 2-child benefit cap. Let's have a look ahead now to the evening news. Here's Charlene.
Coming up on the ITV Evening News, digital ID cards are to be made mandatory for every worker in the UK. The government says it will stop people working illegally in Britain, helping to deter small boat arrivals. But will it work? Tributes to the Olympic sprinter who became Lib Dem leader as Sir Mingus Campbell dies at the age of 84. And it's early advantage for Europe as the Ryder Cup tees off in New York. Join us for those stories and more from 6:30.
Now to the family, which has been uprooted hundreds of miles from home as they wait for a life-saving operation for their little girl. Penelope Greathead has a Berlin heart, a mechanical device which keeps her alive until she can have a transplant. She's being treated at Great Ormond Street Hospital. Her parents, Holly and Jordan from North Yorkshire, have even had another baby since moving to London, where they share accommodation with families in the same desperate situation. Helen Steele has been to meet them.
What's this? What's this?
For 284 days, this has been Penelope's home. After having a cardiac arrest near home in Whitby, she was fitted with a mechanical heart at Great Ormond Street.
So that's like it's like an air pump.
Known as a Berlin heart, it's keeping her alive, but it's also keeping her here.
Our normal life just stopped one day, and we've just been here full time, and this is our full life now. Support from family and friends is it's a train journey away, and it's a long way from Yorkshire to London.
Life is on hold, but it hasn't stopped. Penelope will celebrate her second birthday next month. She's also learnt to walk in the hospital grounds.
Go and give baby a hug.
And since coming here, she's gained a baby sister, who also calls this hospital her home.
Before Beatrice came along, we had a bit of downtime, but now that's gone as well, so we're just full time.
She's a really content baby, and she's just kind of had to get on with it. Just one simple thing, we've never ever sat on a sofa as a family, so it's just things like that we've not been able to give to either of them.
Back in December, it was a race against time to get Penelope to Great Ormond Street, one of 2 hospitals which could fit the heart. But while the heart saved her life, it's not without its risks.
Things can change so fast, so she can be great for weeks and weeks and weeks, but then you'll tell that something's changed and she'll be getting sepsis.
Even though she's on the Berlin heart and she's pretty stable, they say the kids are the wellest but the most fragile.
Trips out can happen, but they have to be restricted to just a few hundred metres.
How hard is it doing this, coming out?
So yeah, it is a bit of a logistical operation. We need spare batteries for the machine, we need a nurse to come with us.
Do you ever think about going home and what it would be like?
Yeah, we obviously think about it every single day, all the time. It's obviously the goal that we just want to get home. When we left home, Penelope was a baby. We live in a beautiful part of the country. There's farm animals everywhere, and she really appreciates seeing animals now.
Matching donor hearts is complex, and since Penelope arrived, 4 other children have had their life-saving transplant.
Is that quite difficult, seeing that?
It's not been difficult, it's been amazing just to see, because it's people that we've lived with and been really close with, and to see them have this same experience as us and then come out on the other side, and it's really nice to see.
A shortage of donors means Penelope could be waiting a long time.
There are more children waiting recently, and there's an increase in the amount of days spent in a bed, or bed days, which is a very long time for children to be waiting in hospital in a bed space in the high dependency unit.
The prospect of a potential donor is a bittersweet one for Holly and Jordan.
It's going to be hard because you know that the reason that Penelope is going to be able to, go home eventually is because somebody else's child can't. So I think at the time we're going to, it's going to be really emotional, but You know, we hope somebody makes that decision and knows that what we'll do is honour that decision and, you know, we'll give her the best life that we can when we eventually do get home.
Helen Steele with that report. Still to come on the programme.
Come on, England!
World Cup final fever comes to Battersea as the next generation prepare to watch England's women in action tomorrow. But before that, a new crackdown on vape spiking has been launched by the Metropolitan Police. The force's Marine Support Unit are leading Operation Albenga to focus on party boats along the Thames, which are popular with students as the new term begins. More than 2,000 complaints about spiking were made in the year up until March, with children as young as 14 among those targeted. But the Met believes the true scale of the problem could be much bigger. Here's Toby Sadler.
The Thames party boat is a Freshers' Week rite of passage. Thousands of new students are expected to set sail this weekend. The Met Police are also out on the water, hoping to keep them safe from spiking attacks.
Police launch, Westminster.
The majority of spiking is still cocaine, ketamine, more traditional drink spiking. It's what we see majority of it, but we know that vape spiking is a growing and emerging trend.
The police have new technology to test vapes. The Safeguarding Minister, Jess Phillips, today's guinea pig.
Okay, I'm prepared.
A quick test of her vape, and she gets the all clear.
Thank God, that would have been bad, wouldn't it?
The technology is being used alongside the traditional bag searches and sniffer dogs.
If you've got a cuddle, then she'll be very happy.
You can have a cuddle.
This is Bella.
This sort of crime is a worry. I worry about it as a parent as much as I worry about it as a minister, and that is why we have really tried to look at different areas, whether it's targeting the perpetration, looking at the crimes that people can actually be charged with, and also making sure that there is the police resources to do this targeted work.
Former Love Island contestant and now campaigner Sharon Gafka is a victim of spiking. Like many, at the time she didn't feel comfortable reporting it.
I don't go to a lot of places now that I probably used to, and I'm more aware of my surroundings, probably hyper aware, and actually has an impact on my nights out and my friends' nights out because they know when I'm feeling unsafe. And I think that that's something that I've heard from thousands of people, not even just women and girls, thousands of people that have encountered spiking and their friends have encountered spiking also feel the exact same way.
Concerns shared by students boarding the party boats.
So yeah, no, it's scary being a woman in London, of course, but yeah, it's nice to know that there's being investment to try and prevent it, reduce it.
I've never been spiked, which probably makes me less wary than I should be.
When we go out in clubs, I know so many people who've had such bad experiences, and it was just a simple fix that was stay with your friend or make sure everybody gets back or walk someone home, looking out for each other.
The awareness campaign is also being spread across the West End, which is another hotspot for spiking attacks. But on land or on the river, the police hope this new approach will keep students safer this Freshers' Week. Toby Sadler, ITV News.
There will be fewer trains on the Piccadilly line from Monday because of leaves. The leaves coming down in autumn can cause problems for the trains trying to brake. Sangeeta Kandola's at Russell Square for us this evening. Sangeeta, how big a problem, how much disruption are we talking about then?
Well, it's a significant amount really, Duncan. TfL don't basically want a repeat of what happened last year when leaves on the track literally halted services on the Piccadilly line. Now, two storms in quick succession left unusual amount of mushy, sticky leaves on the overground tracks of that line. They were slippery, reducing traction, and they caused the train wheels to develop flat spots when they were braking. Now, that meant many of the Piccadilly line trains were taken out of service for repairs, and some of the line was suspended for a time. Now, at 50 years old, the Piccadilly lines are the oldest on the London Underground network, and they can't cope with the debris like the newer trains can. Now, this reduced service from Monday will see fewer trains running to and from Uxbridge during the day. The last train will be much earlier in the day, and there will be a slightly reduced service on the rest of the line. Now, that hasn't gone down well with passengers.
Well, it's a bit inconvenient because I'll have to get up a bit earlier to come to work.
Leaves on the track, it's a nonsense. They should be able to clear leaves on the line very quickly without having to have any closures at all.
There's a lot of people that travel through the underground, so it's going to cause nothing but a very severe delay.
I think it's a bit ridiculous because we've had leaves, there's been leaves on trees for years, so why can't they cope with this?
Now, TfL say they are working to clear the tracks. They're giving drivers additional training to limit damage in slippery conditions. They're running specialist trains to clear the debris off the tracks, and they're speeding up wheel repairs at their depots. Will it happen again next year? They say hopefully not. The older trains are being replaced by newer ones, but that won't happen probably until next autumn.
All right, thank you, Sangeeta. Now, chicken shops are all over the capital, and one Londoner has been using them for dates for a decade now. Amelia de Moldenberg is celebrating 10 years of Chicken Shop Date, an interview series that started by celebrating the best of the capital's culture and has now even crossed the Atlantic with some of Hollywood's biggest names ordering their wings. She says youth clubs are a key part of her journey and is marking her show's anniversary with an exhibition.
I benefited so much from being at a youth club and making a youth-run magazine when I was younger. And if I can use my platform to do the same, like that's what I'm going to do for sure. I never would have imagined I would have this actual amazing exhibition to chart the journey of the show and like inspire the next set of young creatives. No, that's why I'm like, wow.
West Ham manager Graham Potter was asked today about being at the centre of this week's social media phenomenon. In recent days, memes of his face swapped onto various famous images and videos have been springing up on X and Instagram. When asked about it at today's press conference ahead of their match with Everton this weekend, he admitted his family have had a good laugh.
It made my 15-year-old son laugh a lot. So, as I said, you have to accept what comes with it, which is part of criticism. It's at times ridicule, but that's just the environment we're in, and it is what it is.
On to the weekend weather now. Here's Holly.
Midday Mayan temples, followed by sunny afternoons on the sand. TUI sponsors ITV London weekend weather.
Hello, good evening. We have had a lot of cloud around today, haven't we? But hopefully something a bit brighter, at least at times, into the weekend. A few showers about, maybe some tomorrow, maybe a bit of a damp start perhaps on Sunday. But yes, also some bright skies and then a settled start into the beginning of next week. So we've got a southerly picking up for tomorrow. That draws a few showers our way. Then this weakening weather front edges our way on Saturday night. So that could give us a slightly wet start on Sunday, but there is some uncertainty about the timing on that feature. And then this high starts to build its way in behind, and that should give us a spell of fairly decent weather. So as we push through this evening and tonight, the cloud that's formed by day tends to break up a bit more. You could see a few showers here and there, but I think largely a dry night on the way. A few misty patches, perhaps in more rural spots, and here temperatures drop down to probably mid-single figures, but more like 9 or so in the capital itself. And a bright start, I think, for many into tomorrow. There will be some cloud around. A few showers here and there, not too many of them in general, I think. Often dry for tomorrow, often bright. The southerly breeze does pick up through the course of the day, but temperatures are that bit higher than today's values. We're up at around 15, 16 today. Tomorrow, more like 18 or 19. So I think that will feel like a noticeable jump. Tomorrow evening and overnight, we've got this approaching weather front. It is a weakening one. It's not particularly active, but that pushes in. It may well just give us some showery bits and pieces of rain, perhaps to start Sunday. But as you can see, clearing through, brighter skies emerging behind. So hopefully a bit of sunshine then to be had. And yes, a settled look into the start of next week. Take care.
TUI sponsors ITV London weekend weather.
England's women take on Canada tomorrow, hoping to regain the Rugby World Cup they last won in 2014. But it's not just about trophies, it's about inspiring the next generation too. Battersea Power Station will host the official London fan zone, but it's also been hosting 17 primary schools for rugby sessions and skills challenges run by one of the capital's Red Rose legends, Shauna Brown. Anton Allen went along to watch.
Rugby fever aims to inspire the next Red Roses and continue the growth of women's sports. The question is, where will the next generation of women's rugby stars come from? The girls taking part at the skills coaching in front of Battersea Power Station could be the answer. The Women's Rugby World Cup enters its last weekend, with England aiming to defeat Canada in the final, whilst inspiring young girls across the capital and the country to pick up rugby and join in the fun.
I love how it's bringing loads of schools together to play women's rugby, that people might not have the privilege to do it.
Well, I've done a competition before, so this made me want to do it even more, and yeah, it's really good.
I hope that England win and that they do well and score lots of tries.
The World Cup final at Twickenham is sold out. Those that don't have tickets can come to Battersea Power Station's fan zone to watch the match.
You're good enough, aren't you?
Girls from Our Lady Immaculate Primary School and Sacred Heart Battersea School were treated to a guest appearance and motivational words from a former England player.
1, 2, 3,
Rugby star Shauna Brown helped England reach the last Rugby World Cup final. Brown grew up in Lewisham and believes rugby is more diverse than ever and is reaching a new generation of girls.
For so long, so many people have not seen it as a moment for them, but now we are seeing it is a moment for them. Nearly 500,000 tickets sold to come and watch women play rugby. Allianz Stadium on Saturday is sold at over 82,000 people.
The Rugby Football Union's Every Row strategy and the Impact 25 programme aims to significantly increase female participation in the sport to 100,000 active players by 2027 to foster inclusivity.
Why is it important that every girl here, regardless of race, class, state or private school, knows that they have a place in rugby?
I mean, it's so much more than rugby. It's the part where if you can learn to communicate with other people, you learn to have empathy, you learn to work, teamwork with other and different types of people who don't look like you, sound like you. That's the future of our society, our culture, and for a better world.
In the final on Saturday, England are favourites to lift the World Cup. If skill alone can't get them over the line, the support of their loyal home fans could be the difference. Antoine Allen, ITV News.
And that is it from us. The evening news is next with Charlene. But from all of us here on the London team, have a lovely weekend. And from me, goodbye.